Messing around with it already. Forgive me. Try this. That's a little better. Should I just kill that? I don't know. Can people see me? Am I actually... Is this actually live? Somebody tell me. Because I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, good. People can't see me. I learned earlier this week, I landed the role of Mr. Collins in an upcoming production of Pride and Prejudice. Very cool. This is just blowing me out. I gotta turn this light off. I give up. Congratulations, Castile. Still gonna be blown out because this is just, maybe if I take, I'm gonna keep fiddling with this because this has been bothering me more than it used to. So what if I kill that one? You get my my very, very fancy, super basic pants that I'm wearing. Just be thankful that I'm wearing pants because this could have gone very different. Just got my degree. It was good, so I'm celebrating by breaking out all of the water. Yay for water. My prepared beverage is, it's too hot, so I won't be partaking of that for a little bit. I'm a little frustrated. I've bought a webcam so that I won't have to keep streaming from my phone. What I didn't realize, because at this point I'm in the habit of setting up the live stream from my phone. And what I didn't realize was if you set it up, even if it's scheduled to start later from your phone, you can't pick that up from the computer. You have to set it up on the computer. So if I wanted to make use of my new webcam, I would have had to scrap the room that I knew about 40 or some odd people were waiting in, and I just said to heck with it. I'm gonna try and have that sorted out by the next time, because, well, for a number of reasons. The next time, I haven't had a theme for a little bit now, but there will be for the next one. Because the next one, I'm still working out all the details of what it's going to look like, but it's going to kind of be a sort of telethon, because I got a tax bill that I can cover, but at the same time, it's like, it's making things really, really, really tight. You said you enjoy Among Us, maybe play it with fans as a Patreon perk, maybe? Possibly. That's the kind of thing that, like, if and when I actually get caught up on stuff, I would like to look into setting up doing. Because that's actually the one time that I've played, actually, like, with other people properly on the computer as opposed to on my phone, and not just a random public, was on somebody else's Discord server. That some of the people there set up a game, and I really dug the heck out of it. I don't know if I'm organized enough, but again, these are good things to do, but I'm really feeling the pressure of the book, and I'm feeling how badly backed up my commissions are. Loving the top of the pronoun badge. Thank you very much. Thank you, Carowin, for that. Let's all play a game called How Long Can Wild Last Before She Cracks? I think I've already lost that. Acting sus. Oh, I'm sus AF. Is Among Us worth playing even if you're not playing with people you know? Yeah, I've been playing it for a couple of months, just doing random public games. Just realize that's a bit of a dice roll in terms of depending on how the person has set it up. because you can set different games up different ways in terms of things like movement speed, how many imposters there are, what the tasks are like. So if people fiddle with it too much, it can really unbalance the game in one direction or another. And sometimes some people are just dicks. Your ability to grief is pretty limited in terms of what you can do, but like people can still make it unfun, or they just like drop out for the heck of it. Did you watch the ball drop? Yes. And it was one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen broadcast. It was depressing. I don't know if anybody else watched it. They tried to fill out the crowd with like the wacky waving, inflatable arm flailing tube men. And it was really sad. My mother's boyfriend tested positive for COVID-19, so that means I'm stuck in quarantine for a week at best. I'm very sorry to hear that, Connor. I hope he recovers all right, and I hope nobody else in your family catches it. In general, do you think Blu-rays are worth the extra money, or do you just go for DVDs? I do get Blu-rays because at this point, like, I have a high enough def TV that I can tell the difference. Now, I'm not so picky that I'm gonna re-buy DVD things that I have on DVD again on Blu-ray, unless something goes wrong with the DVD. Like I have my Princess Mononoke DVD would skip, so that one I replaced with the Blu-ray. But if I'm getting something new for the first time, if I can get it on Blu-ray, I will. And I'm missing questions. I don't have the energy to go back and scroll and catch up. So usual rules apply. The only thing that will guarantee that I grab your question is a super chat, and anything else I will respond to it as it comes up. But if I miss it, you can ask it again. Just don't spam the chat. My mods will put an end to that. Happy to report I've recovered from the dreaded disease. I'm still reporting for duty. Oh, thank you, Joel. Very happy to hear that. Joel is my thumbnail artist, for folks who didn't know. If you've never watched Glee, then how do you know about the Asian F episode? By the way, he didn't get a B, he got an A-. Oh, like that fixes what's wrong with that. You don't have to have seen the show to know that there is an episode titled The Asian F. Like that, I've read about that. I looked it up and confirmed that it wasn't made up, because that was my assumption when I heard about that. I'm like, no, they didn't actually. Then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, for God's sake. So what do you mean, how did I know? That's like saying, how do you know the Doctor's a Time Lord if you never watched Doctor Who? Somebody told them at some point. The care home I work at has had a bad outbreak of COVID. A third of the residents and half of the staff in my department have all tested positive. I'm negative for now, thank heavens. Oh, goodness. I'm trying to stay safe as best you can, Charleston. I'm really sorry to hear that. Finally re-watching Doctor Who and watching your overdues with it. Well, I hope that makes it more entertaining for you. With a nice refreshed view, you can watch my reviews and tell me how wrong I am. People do enjoy that. Would you rather be tied to a chair, gagged, and forced to watch the final season of Dexter or Game of Thrones? See, you started with tied to a chair and gagged, and I was hoping for a more fun question than that. You let me down. That's disappointing. I am stalling in my answer, yes. I don't know. The finale of Dexter is worse, but the badness of Game of Thrones is more, it's the entire season's a slow train wreck. The final season of Dexter is just dull until that last episode, so I don't actually know which is worse. Did you enjoy the discourse from the Hellbent video comment section? One guy wrote a flippin' essay. Yes, I'm aware. Which honestly kind of speaks to something that I didn't bring up in the video because I didn't know how to address it in a way that was going to flow with everything else, and also that wouldn't sound like I was calling people out and being a dick, and I'm hoping it doesn't sound like I'm doing that now. But here's the thing. Virtually every defense of Hellbent I've ever read or heard, it still falls down for me on one of two reasons. Either it involves very elaborate headcanon, stuff that is not confirmed in the episode itself, in the text of the episode, where they have to extrapolate things from about 3 different places and take like one line from the episode itself in order to make this theory make sense. So, and again, if that's your headcanon, that's fine, but you need to acknowledge that's what you're working with. That's your headcanon. But then, even if they're right, even if what they lay out with these elaborate, long things is in fact the intention of the episode, there's still a problem because enough people got it wrong, either because they're like me and they don't understand what the heck's going on at all, or since I've seen multiple contradictory theories about what Hellbent means, a bunch of other people came up with a different read. So something still went wrong. It either makes no sense unless you have this elaborate fan theory, and or there is an intent that actually matches some of these elaborate theories, but was poorly communicated to viewers, which is still a failing. This is something I always come back to. If you have to explain it, and it doesn't make sense to someone viewing it for the first time, then you failed. You have failed in communicating your intent. Now, sometimes people just won't get it. That does happen. But if a significant portion of your audience either doesn't know what the heck you're doing or thinks you're doing something completely different, you screwed up. Ay. Really drives me nuts. Ooh, I got super chats to catch up on. Okay, so let me back up and do that. I think I also saw Meg's name pop up. Hi, Meg. Meg. Oh, and also hi, Carolyn. Hi, my mods, and hi everybody. I wish I could catch more names, but like, I know you. I know most of you pretty well. Same group. So thank you very much from Mr. Will Guitar. Are you watching The Stand? Also, the Wonder Woman issue, just a modern audience being more aware in your opinion? I never questioned the body takeover quantum leap as a kid, despite the similarity. So, a couple of things there. Am I watching The Stand? No. I don't even remember what it's streaming on. So, the Wonder Woman issue, the awareness of it is more of a modern day perspective of it. It does, just because it wasn't as widely acknowledged before doesn't mean it didn't always exist. I actually do plan on tackling a video on that hopefully later this month if I can get my act together. So stick a pin in that, I'll come back to it. Have you seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? We can't stop here. This is Bat Country. Yes, I've seen it. Would you say Doctor Who fans are kinder on bad episodes than other fandoms? No. I don't think there's as much consensus among modern era Doctor Who fans as to what constitutes a bad episode. But when Doctor Who fans don't like an episode, they really don't like it. This goes for me too. And that's regardless of their reason. Whether their reason is it didn't work for them, it didn't land, and things like that, or like it pushes an agenda that they didn't like. They go in hard. I think there's less consensus as to what constitutes the bad. Certainly than there was in, like, say, for classic fans, who usually are pretty on point. That said, I had a conversation with, I say a friend, he's more of a friendly nemesis, prior to a podcast record where he said he genuinely likes Warriors of the Deep. So, who even knows anymore? And that was from High Voltage. Thank you very much. Real Life Jolie, hello there. Hey, you just wanted to ask how bad your tax bill is and to apologize for driving that up by actually giving you $100 last year. So, two things. First of all, don't apologize for commissioning me for stuff. I need to apologize for you for how long it took me to get to that. The tax bill, I don't want to actually, I'm not comfortable at this point saying the number. It's several $1,000s that I'm dealing with right now. And the thing is, this isn't about last year's taxes. This was about an error on my taxes from 3 years ago. And it was a fluke. I'm pretty sure it was a fluke anyways. On the state taxes, like everything was fine on the federal, but the state taxes, something screwed up and something didn't go through in terms of what was registered. And that got caught later in an audit. I'm pretty sure they audited me because I registered a business and I'm self-employed. But they now caught it, and so money owed, interest, penalties. So it's not actually, I haven't even tackled the tax bill from last year yet. This is separate from that. So I'll have that to deal with in the coming months. I gotta call up my old employers, make sure they're gonna mail my W-2. You mentioned earlier you had not watched Glee. Would you ever watch Glee or do a reaction? Yeah, sure, if somebody paid me. Hold on, I am getting self-conscious about that. So I'm gonna go for a more flattering angle for my under chin. Do you think the Time Lords will ever come back? Oh, eventually. Everything comes back. Some showrunner eventually will bring it back. Do you still go by Nathaniel, or are you exclusively Vera? I still answer to both. That hasn't changed. Let's see. Recently got Netflix for the first time and feeling a bit spoiled for choice. What were your top things to watch on there? Be She-Ra, and The Good Place. What hypothetical pairing of companion and doctor would be the worst? I don't know off the top of my head. Mel and the first Doctor. Feels like that would go really bad. I was right in the middle of a reptile zoo and somebody was giving booze to the goddamn... Oh, yes. Joel now quoting Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Hold up. I was right in the middle of a fucking reptile zoo. Someone was giving booze to these goddamn things. Won't be long now before they tear us to shreds. Nice glasses, thank you. I think I found the perfect song for you to sing during a live stream without being demonetized. Borio's Sequenza. Is that a reference? Am I supposed to know that? Ah! For the love of God, please don't watch Felix the Cat the movie. It will make your mind malfunction. I wasn't planning to. Again, unless somebody pays me. Thank you for creating your essays. Are some of the best I've seen on these channels. Oh my gosh, wow. I really appreciate that because like the stuff I sink a lot of time into, I'm proud of, but doesn't get a ton of attention. Mel and anyone would be awful. Well, yes, Mel was my default. I just had to think about who would be the worst option. A flaw in Hellbent no one brings up is me going with Clara is dumb. She should know that immortals shouldn't travel with immortals, that they need the mayflies. Well, I mean, at that point, we're dealing with a version of her that's already lived to the end of the time, so who the heck knows what conclusions she's come to. I'm not necessarily going to disagree with you, but like that seems like so low on the totem pole of problems with that episode. I'm going to keep adjusting the camera. If you're not used to that by now, I don't know what to tell you. The comment about you having to redo Hellbent review because Take Two wasn't in the title, that was a joke. Well, whether it was or wasn't, I wasn't going to do it. Thoughts on the 14th Doctor? I know you don't care about gender, race, etc., but who's right for the role and who, in your opinion, should be next? Okay. This is the full extent to which I'm going to entertain this question. So I have not addressed the persistent rumor that Jodie Whittaker will be leaving after Series 13. It is possible. There is reason to believe that it's credible, but it's not official. And it's still, until it's official, I have no opinion. And I do this largely for my own sanity, because there are so many rumors out there that if I don't have a hard line somewhere, and for me that hard line is it rumor or is it confirmed, with very, 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 very few exceptions, will I ever comment on something that is a rumor, because I don't like to waste my time, nor do I like to waste my brain energy on something that isn't real. And most rumors don't turn out to be that way. I'd rather be right than early. With it, like, that seems to be the opposite opinion on YouTube, because, you know, there's all these videos like, oh, here's the rumor, it's like, and they jumped on it as soon as it came out. I'm like, you guys want to jump on it and say you were there early, that's fine. I would rather wait until I know. Now, as to the question you actually asked me, I get to them eventually. I don't have a pick. I never have a pick, because I don't pre-pick who I hope they cast, for the same reason that I don't have dream castings for superhero roles or anything like that, because that creates an image in my mind of what I want something to be, and then if it isn't that exact thing, I'm going to be coming at it from a negative point of view of like, oh, but I wanted something else. I'd much rather hold a neutral position as best as I possibly can until I actually find out what it is they're doing, and then I'll have an opinion on that. I mean, I've done a video on 10 actors who I think would be great in the part. I'll basically default to that if you want to look it up. But yeah, honestly, whatever logistical knot needs to be untied, to just have it be Joe Martin. Because honestly, if Joe Martin never gets a proper series, this was pointed out by the Who Chaser, and was something I had not taken into account, but he's right. If Joe Martin never gets a proper series, or at the very least a friggin' special, all to herself, but really it should be a proper series, then that is going to be a waste and also kind of offensive that the first Black Doctor didn't actually get a proper series and is immediately relegated as an also-ran and doesn't get to stand in the same level as all of the official Doctors. They need to make her properly official. And I'm not saying like, oh, she's not canon. No, she's canon. But having her be this sidebar who doesn't even get a number, no, that's actually kind of a big problem. Okay. I know I'm falling so far behind. There was some super chats that came up. I got stuff to catch up on here. At this point, I think because I admitted to having the text issue, the super chats are more lively, which means they are going to get the focus, folks. So I'm not ignoring you. I'm just paying attention to the people who pay me money. Sorry, not sorry. Have you ever watched Steven Universe? The first half of season 1 feels episodic, but has great foreshadowing and world building. Season 4 is a low point, but I'd say it's a great show overall. I haven't seen it. I will finally soon, I think, because HBO Max finally sorted out their crap with Roku. So now I can actually stream it to something other than my phone or my computer. So right now, I'm not gonna start until I finish Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm almost done the second season of that. Steven Universe might be the next thing that I like plug away at while I'm like on the exercise bike. So it will hopefully happen relatively soon, but not quite yet. If Joe Martin isn't cast as 14, I want Raman Tikaram. I'm not sure who that is, so no opinion. A lot of the time with Doctor Who, the fans who have an idea of casting are only referring to their previous work. I'm usually pleasantly surprised. That's another part of the reason that I don't really entertain casting notions in my head, whether it's Doctor Who or anything else, because honestly, most of the best performances, a lot of my favorite performances from a lot of things, came from actors who I never would have thought to have cast in that. It's part of why I always thought that, like, after Fantastic Beasts came out, so many people were like, oh, Eddie Redmayne should be the next Doctor. Like, what an unimaginative answer. Because they basically decided they wanted Newt Scamander, the performance he gave as Newt Scamander as the next Doctor. I'm like, no, I don't want the performance as the Doctor to be reheated leftovers from another part the actor has done. I want it to be something newer, something fresher. And I feel like all the other actors who have played the Doctor so far have brought that. I don't... Like, the only one that I kind of bend that rule at a little bit all is Patterson Joseph, because I admit that I want him because of how good he was as the Marquis de Carabas in Neverwhere. But that thing is so underappreciated as it is, like, I'll make an exception. Do you have anything special planned for the 50th anniversary of the Masters this year? Not presently. I can't keep track of my own anniversaries, much less anniversaries of anything else. I'm really bad at that. Like, I've never really properly done like a Halloween theme. I've barely done holiday theme stuff. Like, I can't keep track. My schedule catches up on me, and the calendar is freaking relentless. All right, I gotta just jump down to the bottom. I'm gonna miss a bunch of these. Do you prefer happy, energetic doctors or the moody doctors? Well, personally, I prefer a nice, fully rounded doctor, but if you're gonna make me choose, I prefer the happier ones. Sorry, late. Have you seen The Expanse on Amazon? It's great. No, well, first of all, thank you, Glenn McKnight. Oh, and I didn't thank whoever the previous super chat was. I gotta get better at that. Oh, it was Mr. Will Guitar again. Cool. Did I get the one before that, the Steven Universe question? No, I didn't. That was from High Voltage. Thank you. So, no, I haven't seen The Expanse. I've heard great things about it. I know Jesse Gender loves it, and definitely has recommended it. But no, as yet, I haven't seen it. I really hope that... Excuse me, just got a raspberry seed down the wrong pipe. I hope that rumor is not true about Jodie. I kind of hope it isn't too, but like it may be. Like the thing is, when I say it's still just a rumor, that's not me refuting it. It may very well turn out to be true. I just am not going to sink the energy into it before then. Do you agree with Stu Bagful that Breaking Bad originally came off as a dark sitcom? Oh yeah. That first season is totally a dark sitcom. Rewatch it if you haven't in a while. What are your hopes for the 13th Doctor's character going forward? How do you feel about her... Ooh, hang on, get away from me. How do you feel about her feeling angry about the Timeless Child? Is that a route you'd like to see them take, given it can't be avoided? Well, first of all, thank you, Jack Warren. I would kind of prefer that she would be a little bit more philosophical and inquisitive as opposed to angry. I don't like the Doctor being motivated by anger for anything more than like one rash decision or one brash action. The idea of doing an extended arc for the 13th Doctor where anger or rage is the primary driver, that notion really kind of, that doesn't sit well with me. All right, so let's see. Ooh, geez, I got more super chats in. Thank you all very much. My goodness. Thank you again, Real Life Jolie. Let me get it up here. Oh, speak of music, what do you think about the mountain goats, and also of what of Jamie Bamber of Hornblower and BSG fame for a Doctor's Companion? So, I don't know who the mountain goats are, and I don't know who Jamie Bamber is. I don't know Hornblower, and I never watched Battlestar Galactica. What? Yeah, I feel really bad that you're paying money to ask me a question that I legitimately can't answer. Oh, did Jesse I've never seen Battlestar. Yes, Jesse, I've never seen. This feels like a role reversal that we've got going on right now. I'm afraid you're about to tell me that that's the next podcast project once What the Frell is up. Thank you very much, Beatrix Purvis. Happy New Year. I love the lipstick color. Thank you. I do enjoy the darker every now and then. Any thoughts on the new set of Star Trek shows compared to the previous generation? And is Sisko still the best captain? Anyway, you're awesome. See, for me, Picard is still the best captain because while I've liked Sisko, I haven't seen all that much of Deep Space Nine, and I really haven't seen enough to have an opinion on that. Or at least on him specifically. So the new stuff they've got going on right now, because they've got the show with Pike, who I don't really know because I haven't watched Discovery yet, and they've got Lower Decks, and they've still got Discovery, and they've got Picard. I'll tell you what, they are moving forward with confidence, which is something that I am happy to see from Star Trek. Because it really felt like for a long time they were moving forward with the sense of, we don't want to make anybody mad at us. I think that was part of why they kept cycling back and doing prequel stuff and refusing to move the timeline forward for as long as they freaking did. So I feel like at least there's a sense of boldness to this current crop of Star Trek entertainment that I feel like was kind of lacking before. Prodigy Section 31. Good grief. They may have overdone it a little bit. So, okay, I got more super chats. What we got? Peter Wayne. I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. Glenn, you stole my shtick. I'm the one who pesters Vera about The Expanse. Happy New Year. Everyone, hope 2021 is starting off well for everyone. Well, I'll tell you what. That first week of 2021 was a hell of a year. And like, a lot of people bug me about stuff that I haven't watched yet on here. So, I think you can share the load on that. There's plenty of pestering to go around. Thank you very much, Tracy. Oh, wow. Just a head start on the Give Vera Some Breathing Room fund. Yeah, fingers crossed. I suppose, like, once I actually catch up on these, I might sort of give you some of the ideas I'm going to try and pull together for the next one, because I am going to try and do something a little bit more like a telethon and like have it be a bigger thing from my end. Have you seen the horror that is Son of the Mask? No. And I won't, unless somebody pays me. Let's see here. Any Doctor Who villains you would like to see return for the 13th season? Omega! Jesus. I saw your Vermont governor was a Republican, which surprised me. Should it? No. Vermont has a pretty long history of having a split between the parties in the state house and the governor. It's lined up every now and then, but honestly, it's hard to explain if you don't live here. It makes sense if you do. And also, like, I'll point out two things. I don't like Phil Scott very much. Like, he's not terrible, and he certainly is no fan of Trump's, which helps. But I want to find out the name of what teacher he had in his childhood who treated him so badly that he has developed this career-long vendetta against teachers. Because he screws over teachers in this state every single freaking chance he gets. So I definitely have issues with the guy, but I have a hard time even calling him a Republican. Like, he is, but I feel like calling him that, I feel like I'm calling him a bad name because he does not feel representative of what party is at this point. It probably helps that as the governor, he only has to worry about this state. He doesn't really have to worry about the national level. So, like, a Vermont Republican is not a national level Republican. It's kind of a different can of worms. That said, not endorsing the guy. Don't like him. Wish he hadn't won re-election. Okay. Have you seen the Makra Terror, Power of the Daleks, Faceless Ones, or Fury from the Deep animations? I have seen Power of the Daleks. I have a review up for it. I have not seen the rest. Thank you very much, High Voltage, for the super chat. Honestly, why do you think they haven't done an alien historical companion yet? It can't be that hard to write. Classic Who did it multiple times. I don't know! I am so sick of every companion coming from modern day freaking Earth. I'm so sick of it. It's so uninventive. It's so unimaginative. And the show has been going on for long enough now at this point that the idea of, oh, well, we need a person from the modern day to bring in the audience. No, you don't. Thing's gonna hit its 13th series. You don't need that. Logistically, part of it is probably a desire to have a reason to keep coming back to modern day Earth because that helps with the budget. If the companions are from modern day Earth, then it makes more sense that the Doctor keeps coming back from modern day Earth and they can have things set in locations and sets that are general use and easily put together and cheap. Anything that they set in space or in the past or whatever is going to require more dress setting, more period related stuff, more building of props or what have you. It's more expensive. But even taking that into account, fine, still have them coming back to modern day Earth, but just give me a companion from out of our time. Have them cope with what it's like in modern day Earth. So sick of it. So freaking unimaginative. Am I caught up? I think I might be caught up on the super chats. I'm checking. Trying to be thorough. Yes, okay. So jumping back down to the bottom of the chat. So I skipped over a bunch of stuff. What do you think of Mr. Beast for president? Are you asking my opinion on the outgoing president, or are you referring to the character from Transmetropolitan known as the Beast, who was also the outgoing president? Saw an article back in 17 that claimed Bill was from the 80s. I honestly felt let down. Yeah, I had hoped that based off her fashion sense. That's obviously the assumption the article had made. Didn't pan out that way. I actually want a caveman companion. That might be a little much for me, but like Jamie is awesome. He's a freaking Highlander. Oh, like it's not hard. On New Year's Eve, instead of saying Happy New Year, I shouted Jumanji, so hopefully we're out of the game, or this is the next level. I do worry that we are about to run a boss gauntlet. The main issue I had with The Eaters of Light is that I was expecting a lot more from the woman who wrote Survival. Oh, I forgot it was the same. I still haven't seen Survival. Shh. It's on my classics I need to get to list. Boreal Sequenza 3 is an experimental composition where the end result is effectively just an incomprehensible noise. Perfect for seeing on a live stream without being demonetized. It's funny, there was something I did on TikTok today. I did a duet singing to a sea shanty, and kind of stretched my my vocal muscles from my bass range, which I haven't tapped in a long time. I'm gonna roll the dice on something here because I'm pretty sure I can't remember the lyrics to the sea shanty now, but there is a song that I know and I remember my bass range for that I am pretty sure is in the public domain, so I think I'm okay. We'll see. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Technically I'm a baritone, but you know, I've got depending on how a piece of music is divvied up, if they haven't distinguished between baritones and basses, you're gonna lump me with the basses, not the tenors. There were more super chats came in. I wonder if the reason we haven't had companions from the past is they might bring prejudice baggage that make them hard to sympathize with. Only if you bring it up. That's only there if the writers decide to put it there. So that's the kind of objection that, like, I just don't really buy that. Oh, thank you again, Real Life Jolie. Agreed about the darn modern day companion thing. I mean, seriously, I would love to see the likes of Jamie Bamber come in his hornblower role. Clearly, that's something I need to check out at some point. Yeah. Oh, Swooning Carowin. You're okay, you're okay. What are your thoughts on The Mask, 1994? I haven't rewatched it in a while. To my memory, it was one of the Jim Carrey movies that held up a little better than others. Today's menu, creamy chicken and wild rice soup, cinnamon roll bites. Ooh, tasty. I would never have guessed you could sing bass like that. Oh, thought I sang tenor based on my speaking voice. You would think. I cannot get to the upper end of tenor. Like, it breaks and you can hear me straining. It's a bad look. Thank you very much. Ooh, Selena Kyle. What's your biggest guilty pleasure movie? Any genre. I can think of a couple I have that, like, I know aren't good movies, but I still enjoy. Like, I still like G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. And I still like the remake for The House on Haunted Hill. And I still like The Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren. Those are probably... Oh, you know what? Earth Girls are easy. That might be the one I need to go with. Oh, boy. I should feel guilty about liking that one. I don't really do guilt over entertainment. But that's... Whew. Do you watch Vash. He's a leftist streamer, YouTuber. I don't, because his presentation style isn't really my jam. I'm familiar with him. I know of him. Sir Jedi Sentinel, an example of it's not hard for the companions, Nardole. See, that's the thing. Like, technically, we've had some, like with Nardole, but Nardole is secondary as the companion. Like, he doesn't even come on a lot of their outings in the start of the thing. He's secondary in the same way Rory is. Now, I like Nardole, or at least I like him by Series 10. He wasn't great in Husbands of River Song, like at all, to the point that I was really nervous him coming back. He proved to be pretty good later, though. If Labyrinth ever makes it to Broadway, you should play Jareth. You remind me of the Babe. Did you know there's going to be a set of audio dramas with Peter Davison and David Tennant? I did. I am like so far behind on Big Finish related stuff, though, that the idea of new stuff coming out like intimidates me. You can only choose one, Beetlejuice or Big Fish Beetlejuice. Any tips on starting a channel? I've just started a channel inspired by Council of Geeks called Time Card Tiro, and I would love tips for content. Oh my God. I don't have a lot of tips on how to get started doing this. I mean, I can give you, oh, Discord. Thank you for the reminder, Carowin. At this latest super chat, and that'll hop on the Discord. The thing is that I can give you a couple of broad pieces of advice. Don't feel married to a topic or a format. Allow yourself the freedom to mess with it, especially early on, because once you start, if, and I do mean if, like, it's harder to break in on this platform than it ever has been. If you start to build a following and they go in for a certain format, it's going to be harder to break from it. But feel free to experiment early on with format, with topic, to find what you want to do, because if you over specialize and go over niche in terms of your topic, you're gonna burn through things to talk about a lot sooner than you think you're going to. And have a regular upload schedule so that people know when to expect new videos from you, and a regular reliable output also helps with the algorithm. Now, the algorithm's still not gonna favor you probably until you have at least 1,000 subscribers, which can be a slog. It took me 5 years to get my first 1,000. I don't recommend this gig to people just coming in, and I hate to be discouraging, but those are the general things that I'm going to say. So I got another super chat from Selena. Love it. Earth Girls Are Easy. That earns an extra $10. Oh, that movie. Oh. Where are you guys from? Finland. Oh, boy. If folks haven't seen that one, it's a trip. That thing. Okay, let me just pull this up and check the Discord. Reminder! The Council of Geeks Discord server is a thing. It exists. It is a Patreon perk, and is also another way to guarantee that your questions get answered in the live stream, aside from super chats. So let's see what we've got here. Will you try American Gods Season 3 now? Now it's coming out. Season 2 was very disappointing. I don't remember if you were commissioned to review. I was commissioned to review the first 2 seasons of American Gods. I don't have the service that American Gods Season 3 is airing on. I have no intention of watching it at this point. Season 2 was such a mess, and the behind-the-scenes stuff that's gone on does not give me any confidence whatsoever in the 3rd season, and the trailer did very little for me. I was slightly surprised Watchmen did not make your best of 2020. Is it because it is genuinely not, which is fine, or because you have not finished posting the reviews, etc.? Well, let me double check something really quick, because now I am just, I want to check something before I say it. But yet part of it is I have not finished the TV series. And the other part is... let me check. I was right. Show's not from 2020. Show's from 2019. So it actually wasn't in the running anyways. You gave me a panic moment there. And actually, if it had been a 2020 show, I would have rushed through the last few episodes so that I could have considered putting it on the list, but it was never in contention for that reason. Next up, my boyfriend and I are watching the Torchwood episode Cyberwoman, and we disagree on whether or not a Cyberman / Cyberperson should be sexy. Your opinion? Well, let's preface it by saying I ain't gonna kink shame. If you find cyber implants sexy and that's your jam, I ain't gonna yuck your yum. So let's start there. Should a cyber person be sexy in the way that Cyberwoman was sexy, i.e. in a flippin' bikini? No. No, they should not. Core component of the Cybermen as a concept is body horror and the terrible things that human beings will do as a society and as individuals to themselves in order to keep surviving. If it looks sexy, then you've undercut your point. So no, they shouldn't. I think even if the answer to that is yes, this person's kind of answering that question. I'm going to read this anyway. I think even if the answer is yes, an argument could be made that it is, since it's about manipulating Yanto in every possible way. The actual costume design feels gratuitous specifically because it does not look like anything that could conceivably be thought up by Cybermen. Yeah, true. With their noted goal of eradicating emotion and brutal pragmatism about discarding anything not immediately useful. Yeah, all that's true. And like as far as that episode's purpose where Yanto still needs to have hope, first of all, I think it would be way more tragic if she just looked like a Cyberman and there's no visual cue whatsoever that this is definitely his girlfriend who's converted. He claims that it is, but I would have found it really disturbing if there was no visual proof. That would have been genuinely disturbing to see him over the body of a generic Cyberman, could be anybody, insisting that this is his girlfriend and that she's still in there. There would be a tragedy to that honestly could be heartbreaking if delivered correctly. Now, obviously that episode isn't really going for tragedy because, for crying out loud, they have a cyborg punch a pterodactyl in the head. So clearly that's not the vibe they're going for. But even with the vibe they're going for, with the idea that he knows that it's definitely his girlfriend and he's too taken up with that, all you need is her face. She does not need to be in a bikini. Unnecessary. Okay, popping back to the chat. Let's see. All right, I am now back, and I will be able to start seeing your questions again. Didn't know if you saw Stuckman's new video where he discussed his Jehovah's Witness upbringing and revealed, among other things, his pansexuality. Thought it was awesome to see him come out. I kind of dropped off Chris Stuckman, not for any particular reason. He didn't do anything that ticked me off. I don't know. Over time, I just started to take to his style less and less, and I kind of bounced off it. Like a couple years back when I was just trying to clean up my subscriptions. But that's great that he came out. That's wonderful. I'm happy for him. And like I said, I don't dislike Chris Stuckman. I just haven't watched his stuff in a while. It wasn't until I started watching One on UK on Amazon that I realized that both Chris Noth and Harriet Walter have both appeared in the Law and Order franchise. Yeah, well, hell, everybody was on the Law and Order franchise at some point. Could the TV Watchmen be watched without reading the graphic novel? Thinking of showing it to my dad. Yes, but you're going to have to be prepared to provide some cliff notes. So one of you better, like somebody watching needs to know to fill in some gaps. And honestly, I think it's going to diminish the experience quite a bit to not know the comic because it is continuing that story. And it kind of assumes that you know certain things. It does not do a ton of backfill. It does very little, actually, in terms of the broad strokes of what happened. It doesn't really explain who Dr. Manhattan is, who Rorschach is. The squid gets brought up, but not addressed in terms of what it is until a bit after the concept of it is brought up. So it kind of presumes that you know who these people are. Now, if you're prepared to give him a bullet point rundown and he's amenable to that, he might still be able to get into it for what it's doing, but it is building on foundation that it's best to know already. Who would you rather play on Broadway, Sweeney Todd or Jareth? Look, if you gave me the chance to play Jareth, I would happily play Jareth. I saw an image on the Reddit for Doctor Who of 12 with a beard for the 60th, and oh my god, he looked so much like Clooney. That's an odd thought. What celebrity would you like to see a Doctor Who episode about? I personally think Alan Turing would be in a great episode. None. I don't like the celebrity historical figure episodes. Almost never. So I really would just rather not. Whoopi Goldberg wants to be the Doctor. I saw that. I still don't think it should ever be an American. If it was going to be an American, honestly, yeah, let her do it. I think she'd kill at it. I still would personally say no, but heck. I don't know if you saw this earlier in the Discord, but what's your opinion on Tom Felton as the Doctor? Curious. I would be curious. Oh, thank you very much, Rusty Ralston. Hey, it's Rusty from the Discord server. My Discord account got disabled because of spam, aka getting and responding to a bunch of messages in a half hour. So yeah, just in case you're wondering. Oh, was that an automated thing that happened? I hadn't heard of anybody running into that before. I'm hoping it's temporary. Those sorts of things usually are. Like they put you in like a timeout box sort of thing. I have an audition for high school tomorrow. Wish me luck. Have a good night, everyone. Well, best of luck at your audition. Break a leg. I recently rewatched Children of Earth and it creeps me out. Yes. Even more since I live in the era where the episode was filmed. Yep, that would do it. What's your opinion on the Valyard? It's not a concept that I think is... It's a concept that was more interesting on paper than it was in execution. I'm not entirely sure it's worth revisiting. I wouldn't say it's impossible to do something better with it, but... I don't know. The idea of Paul Rubens as either the monk or the toy maker is now in my head. I never really liked Paul Rubens that much. I never went in for Pee-wee. Do you think Jo Martin Doctor is a token without her own story? Yeah. Yeah, or at least she risks being that. If the first and to date only black incarnation of the Doctor, and no, don't give me that, oh, well, we saw some incarnations of the Timeless Child regenerated and they were black. That doesn't freaking count. You know it. If the only real proper incarnation of the Doctor that's black only gets to appear in a supporting role to support a white version of the Doctor and never gets her own story at any point, yeah, I think tokenism would be a word that would be fair. If you were given the opportunity to be the showrunner for Doctor Who, would you take it? Yes. I'd probably fail. Like, let's be clear. I do not believe I have the secret ingredients that people with years and years of professional experience in television don't have. But, you know, if you're gonna hand me the keys to the airplane, I'm gonna dang well try and fly it. You know, it's a bit like when I lived in New York, I don't think I've ever told this story on here. So, when I lived in New York, I started performing in burlesque shows because I discovered burlesque and I found it much more welcoming and more to my sort of instincts as a performer, much better suited for me than drag was, which is what I'd been doing before. So I think I was responding to this thing from this sort of basement. It was literally called the Frankel Underground Theater. The theater was literally underground. It was this basement black box theater. And I went thinking that what I was going to do was going to talk to him about being part of a show that he was putting together. What ended up transpiring over the course of the conversation was he was actually looking for someone to bring a burlesque variety show to the space. And offered me, who had never produced a show in my life, the chance to do that. And I did. And I had no business doing it. I was okay at some aspects. Other parts, I really didn't know what I was doing, and you could tell. I do not intend to ever produce a show again. But I was given the opportunity. I'm like, well, let's see if this thing flies or if I crash it into a mountain. I didn't fully crash it into the mountain. I do think I scraped along a few peaks, though. So, like, I am the kind of person, you give me an opportunity that big, I'm probably going to take it, despite the terror. Star Shrek. Don't know why that's in the chat, but apparently Star Shrek is a thing. Donkey! File proton torpedoes! I don't know, that was part Shrek, part Scotty, part... I have no idea. That was going to be a sip, but I just kept going with it. Genuine question. What's the difference between drag and burlesque? Oh, okay. So, drag... So I'm going to put it through the lens for me, because broadly speaking, there's quite a bit of difference. Because at its core, drag is about gender exaggeration and gender impersonation. It is about doing a big, over-the-top, campy version of performative gender. And I'm being vague like that because there are drag kings, there are drag queens, there are cis women who I have seen be drag queens, and they have every right to call themselves as drag queens at the same level, same huge hair, massive makeup. You are portraying a massive, campy exaggeration of a certain gender. That is what drag is. Burlesque is stripping. It is the artistic version of stripping. And I'm not saying artistic in this case to denigrate more traditional strippers, like at a strip club or pole dancers, because most of them are incredibly athletic and can do things on a pole that I would kill myself doing. Like, that is an insane skill, what they can do. But burlesque is... My approach to burlesque and this is not everyone's approach, but my approach to burlesque is that stripping, while a part of it, an inherent part of it, of the performance. Burlesque needs feathers. It doesn't need it. They are a bit of a trope, as are fans and garters. But no, you don't need it. Here's the thing. For me, what makes it burlesque is that the stripping is not the point. It's there. It's the medium through which you are doing something. Maybe you are telling a story. Maybe you're trying to evoke a certain emotion. Maybe you're trying to make people hot and sweaty. Maybe you're trying to make them think. Maybe you're trying to scare them. Maybe you're trying to make them laugh. I have seen burlesque done for comedy, for horror, as political action, always involving a strip element. But that stripping is just the way that it's being communicated. So drag is a costume? Sort of. Drag is an aesthetic. Drag is about dialing up performative gender to 11. That's what drag is. And there can be bleed over between drag and burlesque insofar as they are both capable of being similarly over the top, but they're sort of two different ends, and the things that are consistent about it are different. Burlesque, the consistency is stripping. And there are drag burlesque performers. And there are some drag performers who incorporate stripping, but it's not an inherent part of the medium. Just like exaggerating performative gender presentation is not an inherent part of burlesque. There's Venn diagrams with crossover, but they are kind of different things. If we are using actors from that franchise, I prefer Rupert Grint over Felton. I'm finally a ginger, I don't like it. Or for real, Daniel Kaluuya, perfect for the next Doctor. Daniel Kaluuya, I could get behind that. That'd be really interesting. Oh, hey, Steven, I didn't see you come in. Very nice. Burlesque is the gentleman's tease. Personally, I prefer an audience of ladies. I'm 14, so needless to say, I have not seen burlesque. As well, you shouldn't. Give it 4 years, have a blast. Flashback to your sweet lightsaber skills. I did enjoy that number. Disney is remaking Home Alone. What are your thoughts? Why? That's it. That's all I got. A Doctor Who story idea. The TARDIS splits in half and lands the Doctor in one time period, the companions in another, but they can still hear each other through the time vortex. Okay, my first question then is what is preventing the Doctor from just piloting his half to where they are? That's the first thing you're going to have to figure out. Because obviously that's going to be your eventual resolution. So you have to figure out what's keeping that from happening right away. Can you hum You'll Be Back? I'm still waiting for the biopic about the Robin Thicke blurred lines copyright case. Could be a series of American crime story. Could be. You'll be back. It's literally in half. The Doctor only has half the console. Okay, so then how are you going to resolve that? So, like, what is the solution? What the story possibilities of that are really kind of depend on what your eventual solution is. You may have to start at the end and work backward. Given 13 seems to be tech-focused as a Doctor, I'm surprised she hasn't built a campaign like 8 did in an audio. I wish Handles had gotten a proper series as a companion. Handel should have had a series as a companion. Missy should have had a series as a companion. Yeah. How would you actually do Frobisher in the new era? Like, would you do a CGI penguin or have him in human form? I don't think that you will be able to get mainstream audiences to swallow the concept of Frobisher. What you probably have to do is have him human, establish that he's a shapeshifter, maybe briefly see him as a penguin, or have him have a tossed off line like, normally I prefer to be a penguin, but I'm trying to blend in. Something like that. Do you find interest in true crime? I really don't. Like, knowing that this stuff is like, it's not because my head's in the sand. Like, I know the kind of stuff that goes on, but like going into detail on things that have actually happened like that very rarely interests me, especially because true crime has a tendency to really zone in on particularly gruesome crimes. Like, I'd be much more interested in a true crime of a heist. Sure. But like, somebody dies, like, I don't know. And maybe I'm just getting old, but I'm also at a point where I feel like the genre as a whole, especially with it having exploded in the last few years in podcast and streaming format, just feels ghoulish. Just knowing that people are dead and people are making their careers and their paycheck sifting through corpses for entertainment. Rubs me up the wrong way. I don't judge anyone who does like it, but just Disney's making 2 Star Wars movies, Rogue Squadron and one directed by Kevin Feige. What are your thoughts? Last I knew, Feige wasn't directing. He was pulling it together, same way he pulls together Marvel, but he's not a director. He's never been a director. So we don't know enough about that one. And the Rogue Squadron, I'm curious. And that's about all I've got. Let's see. What about a humanoid duck companion? Only if they're named Scrooge. Coming right up, Series 12 starring Joe Martin as the Doctor. Companions are Missy and Handles. 12 Missy, Boars, and Handles. That would be a good series. Oh! DB, you're teasing me now. Anyone else having their faith in... hang on. Anybody else having their faith in humanity being overly tested in the last year? Yeah, a little bit. Handles was voiced by Kevin Novak, who was Waj for Four Lions. Oh! I did not realize that. Sing the Jesters recap song. I do like that song. I would have to do it on TikTok, though. It would get flagged on here, I'm pretty sure. What are your thoughts on an American Doctor Who companion? None, because there shouldn't be an American Doctor. Next question. They're making a biopic on David Bowie, yet his wishes were not to do that. What do you think? And I really wish they wouldn't have. But they were going to do it inevitably anyways. Is Spaceballs better than the Star Wars prequels? That's an unfair comparison. I enjoy it more, but it's like it's setting out to accomplish very, very different things. This week, I'm watching the first Classic Who story my uncle got me on the anniversary of his death. After that, I'm going to watch all of Classic Who in order. Best of luck to you. My favorite line is, she's tilting pretty sharply, bitchward. Yeah, Liz and I like that line a lot, too. Can I get away with this? Poor Madalena, though, has lost her saintly glow. In fact, she's tilting pretty sharply, bitchward. Oh, I love that show so much. I don't want to get up to turn off the light. Can you do it for me? Oh yeah, Andrew, don't worry about it. You head on out. I'll get it before I go. Where would you rank the Ruth Dr. TARDIS in relation to the others? I need to look at it again. I haven't rewatched that episode in a bit. I have to kind of study it. Probably upper mid. I remember liking it. They should have a companion from mainland Europe just to drive the Brexiters mad. One from Brussels, specifically, just to drive them up the wall. Have it be a bossy person from Brussels who's really into regulation and rules. Watch all of their heads explode. And they hate prawn crisps. That'll be like their quirk. Thoughts on the producers, either version? It's fun. I enjoy the movie. It's not particularly well filmed, though. I love it when you hum. Let me see if how much you want to bet I won't be able to do this if people are watching? I used to be able to do this. See if I still can. That's whistling and humming at the same time. That's a perfectly useless parlor trick. Oh, do you mean Hercule Poirot? Have you seen The Queen's Gambit? I have not, as yet. My boyfriend and I were pleasantly surprised to see Michelle Gomez playing a creepy, childish dental nurse on a sitcom we were watching repeats of. Oh my goodness. If there's a Broadway Rocky Horror revival, who would you play? Oh. I would have a very hard time picking between Riff Raff and Frank. Frank is more consistently in my range. Riff Raff strains me, but I love that character a lot. How can I deal with my LGBT-phobic, far-right, religious extremist mother? I'm living on my own, but she visits frequently. I don't know. So here's something that I don't really talk about, but I have family locally, not my mother, thankfully. But I do have family locally, who are people I would see when I was growing up, and I have good memories of, and I've always liked to think the best of, who are Trump supporters. And voting for him the first time, I came to terms with that. But watching and hearing about them continuing to support him and repeat the talking points of the far right, of people I genuinely feel to be dangerous, I think it's a very real possibility that there's an entire swath of my family, like blood family. This isn't like related by marriage, this is my blood, that I'm probably never going to voluntarily spend time with again. Because I don't think I'll ever be comfortable doing so. Because I know that no matter what they say to me in private, that they voted for and supported people acting directly against my best interest and towards my suppression. How's that to punctuate a point? And as the second election was coming up, I realized that I probably wasn't really ever going to see them again. Not in any meaningful way, and definitely not comfortably. And that's the better option. Because there'd be nothing good for me that would come of that. So I wish I had better advice. I don't know what you do when it's your mother and somebody who you do see on a regular basis, because I can choose not to see these family members. I have chosen not to see these family members. But unfortunately, probably the only thing you can do, realistically, is just not talk politics. Talk about anything else. Make it a no-go conversation topic. But that is still going to leave you in a position where you still know that they hold these feelings. And how you cope with that, I don't know. Because what I've done is to cut people out. And it sucks. I should wrap it up. I've run long on this one. But, okay, so let me, before I do, sorry. Kicking stuff and making noises. Ha! All right, don't know what that was. So, the next one, 2 weeks from now, as I said, is going to be you look like you would be a tenor. A lot of people would think so, but no. Doom, 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 ba-doom, doom, 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 doom. It's more 16 tons again. Ooh. Get away with a little of this one, I think. Far over the misty mountains cold. So anyway, next live stream in 2 weeks, I am going to be, and a super chat comes in. You people just love to keep me around. I ain't gonna object that much. Thank you very much, Dave Wolford. Where can I go to listen to all Doctor Who audiobooks? I checked Audible. They don't have Volume 2 of the 10th Doctor. Well, are you talking audio books or audio dramas? Because audio drama, you need to go to Big Finish. Audio books, I don't know. Some of it might have to do with where you're located. Because some of the rights for some of the audiobooks are restricted out of certain territories, and I don't know why. I've run into that. Not with Doctor Who specifically, but Carowin, I see what you're doing. Okay, so what I was saying, next live stream in 2 weeks. Let's see how far into the statement I can get this time. I'm gonna attempt something along the lines of a telethon. Because, well, first of all, big thanks to all the super chats in this one. A lot more than is standard. Probably because I said that I've got the tax bill thing going on. But the next one is going to be a much more deliberate attempting to raise money towards that. Now, I'm working on a couple of things. And it's going to be things like, some things I've done before, like I'll do some Mad Libs with folks. I am thinking about doing a reading of some of my unpublished short works, possibly of the first chapter of the novel. I am looking into maybe trying to get some other people on to the stream. We'll see. No promises on that. Don't sneeze again. And things along those lines. And I'm open to, of course, Stephen. I figured that was coming. And there will probably be the option for me to take shots for a certain level of super chat, because I've done that before to some pretty decent success. Might subject myself to these things for your entertainment. They're like Birdie Bot's Every Flavored Beans, but aren't branded with the intellectual property of a transphobe. So that kind of stuff. And I'm also open for suggestions. Keep in mind, I can't really sing anything that's outside the public domain because it risks getting the stream shut down, or even if not shut down, having the archive version demonetized. So that, I can't do that. But any other suggestions of for things to do for this, I am definitely open to. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter or email or Discord if you're in the Discord server. Now, here's a question for you, Ms. Wicked Wolf. Are you on TikTok? Or you don't have to be on, you can actually view TikTok without getting the app. You can view it online. Because I did one about a month ago now, I think, where the Hercules Mulligan thing featured. Oh, thank you very much. Ichiban Official. Fun fact, the original Little Shop of Horrors was made with the remaining budget and the same cast and nearly the same script as Bucket of Blood from 1959. It was also filmed in 2 days. I mean, that's Roger Corman for you. The man knew how to stretch a buck. Ellie Kendrick Mira from Game of Thrones would be great as Susan. Isn't the actress who plays Susan still alive? Just bring her back. Unless she doesn't want to. Do a live reading of your erotic play. Give the people what they want. I can't read for 2 parts myself. It doesn't work. The flow sucks. And I'm not going to alternate voices. I would feel silly. Public domain medley burlesque performance. I'm definitely not going to risk performing burlesque on a live stream. Pretty sure by the time I snapped open the top layer, the stream would get shut down right away. So suggestions, don't say doctor in distress. Okay, here's the thing, Ben. I am considering doing a live reaction to Doctor in Distress as part of the telethon. Understand that I'm gonna have to watch it on my phone through earphones. So if you want to know what I'm reacting to, you're gonna have to queue it up on your own side. It'll be like when I live streamed watching Howard the Duck, but I'm considering it. That's what the IRS has driven me to. You sock puppet. I was going to say heck with sock, but I was tempted to bust out the actual puppet that I have, but I don't feel like moving all that stuff around. Yeah, it's going to shift too much stuff. I'm not going to get him out. I just stared him down for a minute. It's very good at blinking contests. Mean Girls is not reopening on Broadway because of COVID. Oh. I didn't realize that any of Broadway was reopening. Probably don't care, but who do you want for Who do you want for the last Smash Bros. Fighters? Don't have to be realistic, but I know one you want. See, the thing is, I haven't played since Melee. I don't even know who's on it now. So there's a very good chance that if I name anything, it's already going to be on there. But let me think. I don't know. Heck, I'll go stupid and niche and say the alien hominid. See if anyone even knows what the heck I'm talking about. Debating whether your Star Wars number or Doctor Who Regeneration number was the best. Thank you very much. I think I'm proudest of my Hat and Cane number, which I've done a few times, and that's a gender bendy number. I'm quite proud of that one. I wonder who's watching me now. The IRS! Always feel like somebody's watching me. Yeah, I do need to wrap it up. Alien hominid. I understood that reference. With the sock puppets, every so often you have to aggressively mash your hands together. See, obviously you haven't read the play, because if you had, you know that wouldn't actually occur. Just because I wrote what is explicitly labeled an erotic play doesn't mean people are actually banging on stage. I'm classier than that. I'm really not, but that's not what I actually put in the text of the thing, because I figured actors have to be willing to do it. Not it, but it, whatever. Super niche thing about to come up, but have you heard of the legendary Sagata Senshiro? No! I just found your channel because of the Cowboy Bebop video. Wow! Really? What? That's not what I expect to hear cited as the thing that brought people to the channel. Welcome! That's awesome. These live streams always fall in school hours where I live, so the Christmas break is always great for me. Well, it was very nice to have you. Do you have Peacock? No. I don't have Peacock. I don't have Paramount Plus. I don't have Hulu. I'm not getting them. I have too many already. I gotta stop. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your generosity on this. Come back in 2 weeks and watch me make an utter fool of myself for money. But most importantly, take care of yourself. Be well, be safe, be kind, and more important than that, please remember that you are beautiful, you are valid, and you are loved. You are the council. I'm just running the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned. McCavity!